Hello viewers, I'm Taran Kumar Goonwal, Assistant Professor in St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management, Gurgaon. The following video is prepared as per the syllabus and course outline of Maharshi Dayanand University. However, there are mostly general topics which cover the working and theoretical aspects of civil engineering. For best understanding and conceptualizing clearly, please do not skip the video and watch till end. At the end of each topic and each section, we will be discussing about the related important questions, feasibility and application. Let's start the video.
Hello students, hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. In today's lecture, we'll continue with the subject Design of Concrete Structures First, which is in the 4th semester. And the topic of discussion today would be the ductile detailing of concrete, that is the reinforcement details in concrete and the requirements of reinforcement and all the parameters that affect the ductility. So the first point is anchorage bond. The anchorage bond develops in the anchorage zone at the ends of a beam or at the cutoff point of a bar within a span of beam. तो anchorage bond वहां पे बनता है जहां पे एक बीम का एंड है या फिर कोई कट ऑफ पार्ट किसी बार का या फिर एक बीम के स्पैन का जहां पे उसका कट ऑफ लेवल है. It causes slippage of the bar at the ends, causing cracking. तो ये स्लिपेज कॉज कर सकता है बार्स की कंक्रीट में से और जो कि इवेंचुअली क्रैकिंग कॉज करता है. The load that causes the limiting value of slip from serviceability requirement gives the measure of anchorage bond between the concrete and the steel. और जो जिस लोड पे ये अगर ये स्लिपेज हो जाता है तो वही वैल्यू बताता है एंकरेज बॉन्ड की कंक्रीट और स्टील के बीच में. It has a parabolic variation as shown in figure next, which will be coming. The tensile stress varies from its maximum value of this is the notification at the point B to 0 at a discontinuous endpoint A. The difference in force between point B to A is transferred to the surrounding concrete through anchorage bond with maximum value at the point B to the minimum value at the point A. This may be considered uniformly distributed over the length AB to transmit the difference in the bar forces between B and A to concrete as shown in the figure. So this is area of steel under tension, and as you can see from A to B as it is written here, the difference in the force between point B to A is transferred to the surrounding concrete. तो जो इन दोनों के बीच में जो भी डिफरेंस फोर्स का होगा इसमें और इसके बीच में वो जो सराउंडिंग कंक्रीट है जिसने इसको घेरा हुआ है वो उसको ट्रांसफर हो जाएगा. And it is considered uniformly distributed over the length and the load is considered to be uniformly distributed. This is for the example of cantilever beam. As discussed, it gives parabolic variation of anchorage bond stress. तो कुछ इस तरीके से समझिए कि ये reinforcement है, ये मान लीजिए इसके सराउंडिंग कंक्रीट है, तो A से लेके B तक अगर आपकी reinforcement की लेंथ है तो आप देखिए कि कंक्रीट अगर यहाँ पे स्टेबल है और इसको हम यहाँ से स्लिप कराने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं तो जिस वैल्यू पे वो स्लिप होगा यहाँ से कंक्रीट को छोड़ के बाहर आ जाएगा बॉन्ड ब्रेक करके, तो वो एंकरेज बॉन्ड है. सेम इसी तरीके से parabolic variation of anchorage bond stress. The variation is parabolic, it is increasing, but it is assumed uniform average bond stress. So the assumed is this way, uniform. this anchorage bond. The IS code has recommended its value for a deformed bar in tension and compression as given in the table below 4.6. For bars in compression, the permissible and ultimate bond stresses are 25% greater than that of tension bars. तो आईएस कोड ने जितनी भी ये जो भी ऊपर वैल्यूज आपने डिस्कस किया है अभी हम लोगों ने टेंशन और कंप्रेशन के लिए सारी डिफॉर्म बार्स की अलग अलग वैल्यूज कोड में टेबल में गिवन है नीचे वो जो हमने बनाई हुई है और जो कि बार कंप्रेशन अंडरगो कर रहे हैं उनका जो परमिसिबल और अल्टीमेट बॉन्ड स्ट्रेसेस हैं वो 25% ज्यादा होता है टेंशन बार्स के कंपैरिजन में. For deformed bars, the permissible bond stress is 60% greater than that of plain bars. और deformed bars में permissible stress is 60% ज़्यादा होता है plain bars के comparison में. Bond strength of top bars, which are defined as tension bars, having at least 300 mm of concrete below them, is taken as 40 to 70% of bond strength of plain bar in tension. तो जो टॉप में बार्स होते हैं उनकी जो बॉन्ड स्ट्रेंथ है वो एटलीस्ट 300 mm कंक्रीट के नीचे होते हैं वो एंड व्हिच इज टेकन एज 40 to 70% ऑफ बॉन्ड स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ द प्लेन बार. So this is the anchorage bond stress for plain and deformed bars for tension and compression zones. This is the permissible value for tension stress. If the bar is plain, then the value is 0.8 for M20 concrete, the value is 0.9 for M25, the value is 1 for M30, for M40 is 1.2, and same the permissible value for tension stress, and if the type of bar is deformed, then the value of then the permissible value of anchorage bond would be 1.1 to 1.26 for M25, 1.4 for M30, and 1.34 for M35, and likewise. So students, you can pause in the video and check all the values and note them down. So the next topic is development length. It is the minimum length of a reinforcement bar required on either side of a point of maximum stress in a reinforcement bar to transfer its force to the surrounding concrete through bond without slip is known as development length. तो ये वो मिनिमम लेंथ है जो जिसकी जरूरत पड़ती है एक पॉइंट बार पे. मान लीजिए एक पॉइंट है जहाँ पे आपको मैक्सिमम स्ट्रेस मिल रहा है तो उसकी दोनों साइड लेफ्ट साइड में भी राइट साइड में भी मिनिमम लेंथ की जरूरत होती है ताकि जो उस रीइंफोर्समेंट को फोर्स जो उसको विथस्टैंड करनी पड़ रही है वो उसको बिना स्लिपिंग के कंक्रीट में ट्रांसफर कर सके. तो ये जो मिनिमम लेंथ रिक्वायर्ड होती है यही डेवलपमेंट लेंथ कहलाती है. For the development of full strength in the stirrups, it shall be bent as shown in figure 4.36b, satisfying either of the following requirements. So we'll move to the figure directly and then continue with the next points. So this is how it works. Yes. This one. This anchorage value for 8 mm dia bar. So this is if this is the diameter, so the value of this bend would be 4 times the dia, and if it is 16 dia bars, then this will be like this, and the value of this will be 4 times the dia of the bar. And for bends and hooks, this is standard hooks for stirrups. This is 90 degree and this value is 8 times the dia of the bar. This is 35 degree hook and the value is 6 times the dia of the bar. And if it is a 180 degree hook, then the value is 4 times the dia of the bar. These are the standards for developing hooks and hooks of the stirrups. The ends of the stirrups shall be bent through an angle of at least 90 degree around a bar of at least its own diameter and continued beyond the end of the curve for a length of at least 8 times the bar dia. तो जैसा कि अभी आपने पहले देखा, ये तो जो स्टिरअप्स के एंड है वो इस तरीके से बेंड करने हैं कि एक तो एंगल 90 डिग्री बने and it should be bent around the bar which has a diameter at least equal to its own diameter, and it should be continued beyond the end of the curve for a length of at least 8 times the bar dia. So this way. And next is and when this is 90 degree, it is this way as we discussed. The end of the bar shall be bent through an angle of 135 degree around a bar of at least its own diameter and continued beyond the end of the curve for a length of at least 6 times the bar dia. So like this. If it is bent at 31-35 degree, the bar over which this bar is bent should be at least equal to the dia of this bar, and this length should be at least 6 times this dia of the bar. The ends of the bar shall be bent through an angle of 180 degree around the bar of at least its own diameter and continued beyond the end of the curve for a length of at least 4 times the bar dia. And if it is bent at 180 degree, then the length is continued for 4 times the dia of the bar. The development length can also be expressed in terms of the flexural bond by limiting the anchorage and flexural bond stresses to their maximum value and equating them. So which can be given by tau BD is equal to U. So if we substitute the value of tau BD in terms of development length and the value of U in terms of shear, so we get this. The value is sigma fs upon 4LD is equals to VO upon JD summation of O. And if we transpose the values and write everything in terms of LD, we get this expression. Which is 0.25 phi fs JD sigma O upon VU. Substituting the value of AST for 0.25 times dia bar summation O, the above equation may be written as this. So if this value and multiplied by this value is taken as AST, this way. So this can be written as AST Fs JD upon VU. Substituting ultimate moment upon VU, it should be larger than the required development length for bond stress tau BD, not to exceed its design value. So the IS code has recommended additional anchorage length equal to the LD to ensure anchorage bond stress to be within its limiting value. So this anchorage length, it should be less than or equal to mu1 upon bu plus ld, where ld, so this is an important formula which need to be learned. ld is embedment length beyond the center of support. This is embedment length, यानी कि जितने कंक्रीट के अंदर स्टील अंदर एम्बेडेड है, plus equivalent embedment length of any hook or mechanical anchorage at simply supported end. Larger of D or 12 times the dia at the point of inflection. D या फिर 12 into dia, जो भी ज्यादा हो, that is considered. The IS code has also recommended to increase the value of mu1 upon bu by 30% when the ends of the reinforcement are contained by compressive reaction such as at simply supported ends. IS code ये भी recommend करता है कि value अगर mu1 upon bu की जो value है इसको 30% से बढ़ा दिया जाए जब reinforcement अगर compressive reaction में contained हो, यानी कि simply supported ends के case. So in that case, LD would be less than equal to 1.3 mu1 upon bu is equal to LD, and it should be ensured that the necessary development length are the section of maximum moment, point of curtailment and point of inflection. Next topic is curtailment of reinforcement. Generally, the bending moments vary along the span of beam or slab, resulting in the requirement of varying areas of steel along their span. तो जो भी एक जनरली एक बीम का जो बेंडिंग मोमेंट होता है या उसमें थ्रू आउट जितने भी बेंडिंग मोमेंट होते हैं वो वेरी करते हैं स्पैन के साथ. जैसे हम स्पैन में आगे बढ़ते जाते हैं, अलग अलग वैल्यूज ऑफ बेंडिंग मोमेंट वी गेट, रिजल्टिंग इन द रिक्वायरमेंट ऑफ वेरिंग एरियाज ऑफ स्टील. और ऐसा भी इसी वजह से जो स्टील है वो हमें अलग अलग वेरिंग एरियाज में जरूरत पड़ती है स्पैन थ्रू आउट द स्पैन. टू प्रोवाइड वेरिंग एरिया ऑफ स्टील along the span of beam or slab, it is difficult. Therefore, reinforcements are provided for maximum positive and negative moments and extended along the span with necessary curtailment wherever it is not required. तो ऐसे में क्या होता है कि अब हर throughout the span अलग अलग एरिया ऑफ स्टील देना तो पॉसिबल नहीं है. तो ऐसे में क्या होता है कि हर पॉइंट पे मैक्सिमम पॉजिटिव एंड नेगेटिव बेंडिंग मोमेंट्स की वैल्यूज निकाल ली जाती है और जो मैक्सिमम और नेगेटिव वैल्यूज को काउंटरैक्ट जितना रीइंफोर्समेंट कर जाए उतना रीइंफोर्समेंट प्रोवाइड किया जाता है. इसके अलावा जहां पे भी लगता है कि अननेसेसरी है वहां पे हम रीइंफोर्समेंट की कर्टेलमेंट कर सकते हैं, यानी कटिंग डाउन. So the IS code has recommended the following conditions for the curtailment of reinforcement. तो reinforcement curtailment की बहुत सारी conditions हैं जो कि कुछ इस तरीके से हैं. The first is provision for maintaining the shear capacity at the cutoff region. The IS code has made provisions to safeguard against such loss of the shear strength in the cutoff region, that the flexural reinforcement shall not be terminated in the tension zone unless any one of the following conditions is satisfied. तो IS code की जो provisions हैं, safety provisions हैं, उसमें ये बताया जाता है कि जो फ्लेक्सुरल reinforcement है उसको टेंशन जोन में टर्मिनेट नहीं करना है जब तक कि जो नीचे कंडीशंस मेंशन्ड है उनमें से कोई कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई ना हो. So the first condition is the shear capacity shall be at least 1.5 times the applied shear at the point of curtailment. तो जो shear capacity है वो कम से कम 1.5 गुना ज्यादा होनी चाहिए अप्लाइड shear के, जहाँ पे हम curtailment दे रहे हैं, which gives VUC plus VUS is greater than or equal to 1.5 VU, where VUC is shear capacity of concrete, which is determined by considering the continuing reinforcement only. तो जो normal cases में shear force है concrete की, वो shear capacity है वो, and VUS is shear capacity of the shear reinforcement. This is for concrete, this is for reinforcement, and this is the value of applied shear. So as you can see, it is 1.5 VU as discussed. Next is excess flexural reinforcement is provided together with excess shear capacity at the point of curtailment. This is obtained by satisfying the following requirements. तो excess flexural reinforcement provide की जाती है excess shear capacity के साथ ही, जहाँ पे भी curtailment की जरूरत है, उसके लिए भी ये जो कंडीशन से नीचे दी गई हैं ये सेटिस्फाई होनी जरूरी है. So the first condition is the area of continuing reinforcement shall be at least twice that required to resist the applied bending moment. तो जो reinforcement span में continued है, जो throughout span में चल रही हैं, उनका एरिया कम से कम 2 गुना होना चाहिए, जो कि जरूरत है जिसकी रेजिस्ट करने के लिए अप्लाइड जो बेंडिंग एक्सटर्नली अप्लाइड बेंडिंग मोमेंट है उसको. Shear capacity shall be at least 1.33 times the applied shear at the point of curtailment. तो जो shear capacity है वो at least 1.33 times होनी चाहिए applied shear, जितनी shear की capacity है वो जो applied है उससे 1.3 times होनी चाहिए याद रखना at the point of curtailment. So which is given by VUC plus VUS. They represent the same things which we have discussed, and it should be greater than or equal to 1.33 VU. So if the above two conditions are not satisfied, then the excess shear stirrups than the required for shear and torsion is provided over a distance equal to 0.75 times the effective depth of the beam from the point of curtailment. तो अगर ऊपर की जो दोनों कंडीशंस अगर वो सेटिस्फाई नहीं हो पाती है, तो उस केस में एक्सेस शियर स्टिरअप दिए जाते हैं जितनी जरूरत होती है उससे ज्यादा, और जो कि 0.7 टाइम्स द इफेक्टिव डेप्थ ऑफ द पॉइंट ऑफ कर्टेलमेंट के ऊपर के 0.75 टाइम्स जो लेंथ है उसमें थ्रू आउट दिया जाता है एक्सेस स्टिरअप्स. एक्सेस एरिया ऑफ शियर रिइंफोर्समेंट, अब जो शियर रिइंफोर्समेंट एक्सेस में है उसका एरिया इस फॉर्मूला से गिवन है, व्हिच इज ASV is greater than or equal to 0.4 B SV upon FY, where SV is less than or equal to 2.5 FB ASV upon B or 0.125 D upon BB, whichever is lesser. So either this value or this value, whichever is less, and where beta B, this BB, is the area of bars cut off at the section, which is divided by total area of the bar at the section. So the first condition is provision for curtailment of reinforcement for positive moment. तो curtailment of reinforcement जब positive moment, the following conditions shall be satisfied for curtailment of reinforcement for positive moment. अगर positive moment है और हमें curtailment करना है reinforcement का, तो जो conditions दी हुई हैं ये satisfy होनी चाहिए. at least one third of the reinforcement for positive moment in a simply supported beam and one fourth of the reinforcement for positive moment in a continuous beam shall extend along the same face of the member into the support to a length equal to LD upon 3. तो ये कहता है कि कम से कम वन थर्ड जो रीइंफोर्समेंट है, रीइंफोर्समेंट का जो वन थर्ड है पॉजिटिव मोमेंट के लिए अगर सिंपली सपोर्टेड बीम का केस है, और वन फोर्थ ऑफ द रीइंफोर्समेंट पॉजिटिव मोमेंट के लिए अगर कॉन्टिन्यूअस बीम का केस है, ये वहां तक बढ़ने चाहिए अलोंग द सेम फेस ऑफ द मेंबर. ये दे शैल एक्सटेंड अलोंग द सेम फेस ऑफ द मेंबर इनटू द सपोर्ट, और जो मेंबर का फेस है उससे लेके सपोर्ट तक जाने चाहिए. सपोर्ट में कहां तक जाने चाहिए? अप टू द लेंथ इक्वल टू LD अपॉन 3. LD अपॉन 3 लेंथ तक जाने चाहिए सपोर्ट के अंदर फेस ऑफ मेंबर से लेके. At the simply supported end and at the point of inflection is continuous span, the following conditions shall be satisfied. तो simply supported end पे और point of inflection पे एक continuous span के ये following condition, ये जो conditions है ये satisfy होनी चाहिए. At simply supported end, LD should be less than equal to 1.3 mu1 upon Vu plus LD. This we have already discussed. And at point of inflection, LD should be less than equal to mu1 upon Vu plus LD. So this factor is removed here. So I hope you guys could understand today's lesson. If in case there is any doubt or any inquiry, you can mail me at the given email address, and we'll continue with the same topics with more types of conditions. I'll give you an overview like this. In the next session, we'll study provision for curtailment of reinforcement for negative moment. So I hope you guys will study. Till then, have a great time. Thank you.
I hope you guys could understand and correlate the topics taught in today's session. If there is any query or subject matter issue, feel free to mail me at the given email ID. Live discussion sessions could also be used for discussion of doubts. Thank you.